Welcome to another client adventure. On this trip, we're starting in Dargo. We're going to show you in Dargo where to stay, different options, and then head out and do a couple of treks in the Dargo area before heading out to the Wonnangatta Station. Then head up Zeka Spur Track, over to Howitt Hut, along Howitt High Plains Road, down the new Caledonia Track, and then into Licola. Don't forget to ask the shops in the High Country for the sublimated souvenir shirts. Approximately 10 kilometers north of Dargo, on the upper Dargo Road, you will find some great camping spots that back on to the Dargo River. The first is Ollie's Jump Up, with a dump toilet, picnic tables, fires are allowed. Then you head south on the Dargo High Plains Road to Jimmy Irvison's campground, which is quite large. Again, jump back on the Dargo High Plains Road, head south to Italian Flat. There's another great campground and probably the most popular. Again, it's got dump toilets and plenty of areas to camp on the river. Further south is 2 Mile, and then we head into Dargo. And we hit the famous Dargo pub and the Dargo store right across the road, and the store has everything that you need, from groceries, hot food, fuel, and even alcohol. With the discovery of gold to the north on the Crooked River and Grant in the 1860s, Dargo developed as a stopover point, a town where fresh vegetables and supplies could be obtained. Currently, the town has a population of 99 people. The Dargo Hotel was built in 1898 and was originally called the Bridge Hotel. Dargo is right up there as one of my favorite places in the High Country. There's so much to do and see here. You could easily spend a couple of weeks four-wheel driving, horse riding, fossicking, so much to do. Here's an old photo in the early 1900s of the Dargo Hotel, and another in 1907. We've stayed in these log cabins a few times. They were built by the owner. They're all the same layout. They have 2 bedrooms. One's got a double bed. The other has 3 bunks, a great bathroom, and a little kitchenette. No cooking facilities. Now into the Dargo Hotel, which has so much history and memorabilia on the walls of past visitors. With a large menu, including 8 palmy options, you have a great dining here from 12 to 2 for lunch and 6 to 8 for dinner. You can even get drinks from inside the dining room, or go outside where there's another bar and an undercover area. The Dargo Hotel is so entertaining. There's always something going on. Have a good yarn to one of the locals or like-minded travelers.
That'll be become the primary tank, and then I'll have.
There's great camping behind the back of the pub on the Dargo River. It's a $60 deposit, which only costs you $10 because once you return the key to get in the gate, you get $50 back. If you're a bit of a softie, you can stay here at the Dargo Motor Inn, which has reverse cycle air conditioning. Or if you've got a caravan, you can stay here at the Dargo River Inn that has powered sites for your caravans and also accommodation, little dongers, huts over in the back there. Time to leave Dargo and head south and then head up on the Wonnangatta Road. You'll come to King Will Bridge, which you can turn right to go out to Crooked River. We're going to go straight ahead and head up to Billy Goat's Bluff. Here's some pictures of the past of the river and again when it's been in flood. Here's a view of going up Billy Goat's Bluff. Once you get to the top, there's a car park, and then we head out and we're going to walk up to the Pinnacles. The Pinnacles is actually a working fire tower for the summertime because of the high risk of fires in the area. From the car park, it's walking only. There are some steep stairs. If you have a disability, you might find it difficult. Also, make sure you hang on to your children. It's quite steep edges, and obviously there is no fencing. Time to make our way back down Billy Goat's Bluff and make our way down to Tabbitville and follow the Crooked River into Grant. We get back onto the Wonnangatta Road before heading out to the Wonnangatta Station. Eagle Vale is a really popular camping area as it sits on the Wonnangatta River. If you go left there in Maruka Junction Track, that becomes a dead end. There's some happy campers. They've obviously gone out for a day drive somewhere. You drive through the rest of Eagle Vale Campground before crossing the Wonnangatta River. Just past the river crossing, you'll come to the suspension bridge, which you'd go for a walk and you can have a look up the river and then down the river. It's a steep climb up Eagle Vale Track, but the views are well worth it. We finally reach the top, then we turn left into Cynthia Range Track. It's then the left-hand turn down Hearn Spur Track, which is quite a steep descent, all the way to the bottom until you hit the Wonnangatta River. There is a number of river crossings to go through. When you hit the T intersection, we're going to turn left and go to Wonnangatta Station. Here's a great camping area for those riding horses. We finally arrive into the Wonnangatta Station, and here's a good look at the Wonnangatta Hut. The station had been established in the 1860s by Oliver Smith, a North American who came across the valley while prospecting for gold. Here's a picture of the old homestead that burnt down in 1957. When William and Annie Bryce and their 7 children came to help farm in 1872, they built a house here on the spur, well away from the floods, and with views across the valley. It was their home for more than 40 years, and in that time it grew from a small hut to an 11-room homestead. The Friends of Wonnangatta Valley have marked out in rock the floor plan of the old homestead. Time to head over to the cemetery, which is just over behind those big trees. Death kept Ellen Smith in the valley, but drove Oliver Smith and his sons away. There was great sadness in 1873 when Ellen died after giving birth to twin daughters. The baby girls died soon after, leaving a grief-stricken Oliver Smith to bury them all here. Annie Bryce also buried 2 daughters here, Ellen Mary, who died aged 3, and Jessie, who died at age 21. Jessie came to Wonnangatta as a toddler, sitting in a gin-strapped case on a pack horse. Life was hard in the valley, and a doctor was a long ride away. The last person to be buried here was Annie Bryce. She wanted to stay with her daughters in the valley that had been her home for more than 40 years. Many people gathered for her funeral in 1914. Wonnangatta is famous as the site of an unsolved double murder. In 1918, the body of Jim Barclay, resident manager of Wonnangatta Station, was found shot. Immediately after, the station cook, John Branford, who had recently disappeared, became the main suspect. But he too was found shot dead several months later, 17 kilometers away near Howitt Hut. While many local people have theories about how Barclay and Bamford died, no one has ever been brought to justice. Wonnangatta Station was the most remote freehold cattle station in Victoria until 1988, when the government took control, and it is now part of the Alpine National Park. This is a great camping spot, and of a night you can hear the wild dogs howling while you're next to your cozy fire. Time to leave Wonnangatta Station. A most recent murder occurred on the 20th of March 2020. Both Carol Clay, 73, and Russell Hill, 74, were reported missing, and their campsite was found burnt out. The alleged perpetrator is Gregory Lynn. When you get to this intersection, you can turn right to Myrtleford, which is an easy trek with camper trailers, but we're going to go straight ahead on the Zeka Spur Track. You'll come across many of these switchbacks, which have been built so you can get up the rugged hillside. It doesn't take long to get to the seasonal gate and then onto the Howitt High Plains Road. Turn left here and go down to Howitt Hut, or you can turn right and head up to King Billy's Track. That'll take you up to Lovick's Hut, Bluff Hut, and over to Craig's Hut. First built with drop slab walls. The hut was rebuilt in the 1920s, and the roof was covered with corrugated iron in 1938. It is one of the first huts with the door near the chimney so that the hut could keep warmer. Those are the original shingles on the roof. The hut was built by the Bryce family of Wonnangatta Station in the early 1900s. We come back out onto the Howitt Road, turn right, and we're going to head 17.5 kilometers to the Caledonia River track. You're going to find some steep rutted tracks getting down here into this valley and also coming out of it. There's a few good camping areas along this Caledonia River track. You certainly wouldn't want to do it in heavy rain. These rivers would fill up quite quickly and get quite deep. The rocks in these riverbeds are quite large compared to most river crossings, so it's definitely a bumpy ride. This unnamed campground looked really good. Someone's cut out a chair and called it Anzac. They even left a knife in there. We're going to turn left at this intersection. This is where the Caledonia River track turns into the Butcher Country track. About 5 kilometers down the road, you're going to come to the Butcher Lookout. Once I get to the bottom of this hill, I'm going to turn left and then follow the McAllister River track. There's no signage in these back tracks, but if you get yourself one of the local rooftop maps, they're perfect. It was late in the afternoon, and I come across this group of campers who invited me to stay for dinner. They had a fantastic roast pork and sticky egg pudding. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated. We told a few yarns, and we listened to a bit of bantering. It was great. Next morning, the boys got the coffee on, and it was time to start having brekkie and head off. I followed the boys out. The McAllister River track then turns into the Black Soil Gully track. We then turn left into Bull Plain Road until we come down to the intersection where we say goodbye. The boys turn right to Middle Ridge Road, and I'm going to turn left down Glen Carn Road, heading down to Licola. When you get up to this intersection, it's a little bit confusing. I mean, it's all marked on the map correctly, but that link road is pointing to the left. It's actually meant to be to the right-hand side. This road going down here on the left is Target Creek Road. That's where we're going to go, and you'll come across these Land Rovers in this farmyard before you come down and come into Licola. You can turn right here to go to Jameson, or turn left to go to Licola. Behind this CFA building is some public toilets and a fantastic public barbecue area with a bit of signage and history on the local area. Here's a picture of Licola in 1958. The Black Friday bushfires of 1939 and the return of soldiers from World War II in 1945 increased Victoria's need for timber. In the early 1950s, the three Saxon brothers set up a sawmill in Licola, harvesting the tall native eucalypt, alpine ash. The majority of machinery was built from a number of ex-army vehicles, including tanks, which were driven from Bandianda to Licola in convoy. By the time the operation closed in 1966, there were 20 houses, plus singles men's quarters, a boarding house where single men ate, a post office, and a school, whose attendance peaked 37. Timber is still a major industry in the area. ITC Timber in Hayfield employs 180 people at its sawmill and manufacturing plant. The company is the largest producer of hardwoods in Australia, harvesting only new growth alpine ash. In 1969, the township was sold to the Lions Club, who opened the area as a holiday village. The local school soldiered on until 1979, numbers boosted by Lion Cubs. Today, the township of Licola is owned entirely by the Lions Club of Victoria and New South Wales. It is the only privately owned town in Victoria and the only one not connected to mains power. The owner of both the Licola General Store and Caravan Park is doing an amazing job, and the facilities are first class. So make sure you stop in Licola and visit the store and stay at the Caravan Park. This is a great camping area right on the McAllister River. Nothing like a nice hot fire on a cold night. Thanks for watching another Klein Adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.